Would you take a long trip and never check your gas gauge before you took it? No, probably not. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today because the most common problem that small business owners have that cause them to go under is the lack of a four-letter word, starts with C, ends with H, and says cash in between. Every small business owner goes through it. Today, we're going to talk about how to fix it. I'm Lonnie Shambi, and with my partner, Stan Simpkins, we are the Small Business Virtual Roundtable. And today, we're going to talk about how to take your business from cash-starved to healthy. Cash is the engine that drives the machine called small business.
And Lonnie, that didn't mean they weren't necessarily profitable either, did it?
No. A P&L doesn't tell you how much cash you have. The first thing I look at when I walk into a business that I'm turning around is I ask them a question. When do you do invoicing? And how about collections? And how about payables? When do you pay them? Well, pretty much as soon as we get them in. Okay. Anything wrong with this picture? How do we fix that?
Well, Lonnie, that's a really good point. You know, a lot of our listeners here, I'm sure, have at some point experienced a time where they're, kind of feeling a little concerned about the cash flow. But what really is amazing is how often owners will turn that over to the bookkeeper,
yes,
who isn't necessarily a trained financial person. They know bookkeeping, and they aren't really managing that. And you find out they're not processing bills right. Bills are going out inaccurately, so they're getting bounced back. No one's really watching the store, as they say. Tell us from a financial standpoint a little bit about forecasting, which is a dirty word to a lot of small business owners.
Yeah. Well, what I've learned...
Like eat your broccoli, you know?
That's right. I used to hide my broccoli under my mashed potatoes. But here's what I've learned over time is that the maximum time that you can really forecast small business terms of cash is 8 weeks. Okay, you can't go beyond that. And in 8 weeks, basically what you're doing is you're turning it over at least once during that 8-week period, and you begin to manage your cash in and out, and you start adjusting. And if you're paying that cash out too soon, then what you're ending up doing is using high test fuel when you only need regular, and you're doing it way too early.
Lonnie, would you actually back up the statement every small business owner should be looking at the payment schedule before any checks are cut?
Absolutely. And he should be matching that against the collections. Invariably, if you're going to have an issue, it's going to be this one in terms of cash flow.
Lonnie, that's a great point you just made there. You know, one of the things that happens, and I'm going to wrap this up quickly, is someone will not be able to pay one of the major vendors' invoices, which then snowballs into something not being sent by that vendor, which then means a project or an order can't be fulfilled, and it just snowballs and snowballs.
Yep. And the answer to that is one word: communications. Reach out to the vendor before you have the problem, not when you have the problem. Reach out ahead of time.
So for Lonnie Shambi and myself, Stan Simpkins, we're the Small Business Virtual Roundtable facilitators. If you want to learn some really good information on this, come visit one of our meetings and ask some of the attendees, and you'll get even more details on that. Just look at www.sbvirtualroundtables.com. Thanks for being with us, and see you again soon.